okay, first of all, so wonderful to have the opportunity to speak with you, not just about this amazing series, but your career, because you've directed so many of my favorite TV shows. So, first of all, thank you for that.
Very kind. Thank you so much for having me. Really nice to meet you. Yeah,
You
love to
too,
meet you.
you too. Now, what I love about Cursed, it's such a fantastic series. As much as I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but I've gotten like pretty well halfway through it. It's riveting, but it's such a conventional way how this all came together. Tell us about that. I've never heard of anything like this in my life.
I came on board, the book was already in process of being written by Tom Wheeler and Frank Miller.
Yeah.
And I got the script sent to me by actually Tom Wheeler's brother, Bill Wheeler, who's another writer who I'd worked with on Ray Donovan.
Yes.
And I got the script and I read it, and I was I've always been so fascinated by the Arthurian legend. And then when the script took the Lady of the Lake and it was doing her story, I thought, I absolutely want to do this. Yes, please.
For sure. But from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, like they were kind of writing it and developing it as you were shooting it as well.
Yeah. So when I came on board, yeah. So after I got the job, they were still in the process of finishing up the book, the first
Yeah.
book, and Frank was still working on the illustrations, and we started a pre-production. So it was a hectic, amazing time, but a lot of challenges because the book was still being worked on, and we were already on the path to going into production. So yeah, it was great, crazy but great.
Yeah, I was going to say that because how stressful is that when you don't really have at your fingertips even beforehand the source material, and you're all three of you are working at the same time to get this. So Tom's writing, Frank's illustrating, you're directing a series, and you all have these images, I guess, in your head. How do you kind of come together as one?
Yeah, it's really interesting. It can be very overwhelming because of everything you've just described, but Tom and Frank are such great collaborators and so open to the conversation and to the creative, discussions that we were having, that it was really special. Like the book was there for us to use, but they weren't beholden to the book.
Right.
And Frank's illustrations were there for us to be inspired by, but we weren't beholden to the illustrations. And
Amazing.
so it was like this amazing two-way conversation, three-way conversation, and everything flowed. And
Yeah.
so it was really kind of what's best for the series, what tells the story that we want to tell with no constraints. So that was the great part about it. Everyone was just wanting the best ideas.
I love that. I really love that. I think it's fantastic. I think more people should work this way. It's so creative, and also, you are creating this world. Kudos to you because it's the costumes, the sets, the locations. Like it's so lavish and beautiful. How challenging was it to get that all together?
Very, yeah, but amazing. That's, as a director, that's what you dream of, to be able to create a world and to build a world, from imagination, and with all these people around you who care so much, who
Yeah.
want to tell this beautiful story, who are really in it with you. My cinematographer, the production designer, everybody was so invested in the story, the cast, all the crew. And so you have this environment where you feel compelled to do great work. It's like everyone is around you, and in the beginning we would call it like a think tank. We'd
Right.
all get together and, what kind of palette do we want? What's the best, color for the Red Paladins red? We saw so many different red robes that we were like, so you're making all these decisions,
Yeah.
but it's based in what's best for the story. So it was overwhelming, but really an amazing opportunity.
This is, for sure geared a young adult series, for sure, no question about it. But what's interesting to me is that you have to find the balance because you have to show the realities of the Middle Ages. You don't want to kind of dumb that down, and so I was just kind of wondering how that presented challenges to you.
Yeah, I think with any project, there's always the search for the tone. What's the tone that feels most organic? What's the
Hmm.
tone that feels like when you hit upon it, you're like, yes, that's it. And I think because of all the things you just said, you know, you're dealing with a legend that we know and love, but we're
Yes.
doing it in a fresh way. You're dealing with a time period, although we're not a historical series, we're based in a Middle Ages or a Dark Ages. So you're drawing from that,
Hmm.
and you want to tell a story that makes sense for what you've been given. You know, what's on the page, and
Right.
so I think it's always calibrating. Like, does this feel right for what we're trying to do? You know, is this, the violence is necessary because this is a really violent,
Yes.
um, you know, conflict, or you know, the dialogue, does it feel right because this is what young people would say, you know, this is how
For
they would
sure.
talk, you know, so you want to just ground it in
Hmm.
what feels right.
Yeah, yeah, no. From what I've seen, it's amazing. Let's talk a little bit about the casting because Catherine Langford, of course, who we all know from 13 Reasons Why, and she was just riveting on that show. Amazing. And this is a whole new thing for her. Like, we're, you know, her fans are going to see her in a whole different light. How did you know she was the right girl to play this character? She's fantastic.
Yeah, so I have to tell you, I can't take any credit for that, unfortunately, because she was cast before me. But
Okay.
I've been saying, like, I am reaping the rewards because I can't imagine any other actor playing that
Mm,
role. I mean, I think that she embodied Nimue, the
yeah.
Lady of the Lake, like in a way that felt so beautiful to me, like with humanity and compassion and a fierceness and courage and bravery and like a subtlety and nuance. Everything that I could have dreamed of for that
Hmm.
character, she did. And she's a delight. Like, she's such a hard worker, you know, a yes actor, and she wants to do anything and everything. So we just hit the jackpot.
Yeah, what I love about her too is that she takes risks, like doing something like 13 Reasons Why. Wow, that was, you know, it was a hard show to watch, and she really did a fantastic job. And then you see her just recently in Knives Out, a comedy, you know, she's so lovely and great. And then her sister is getting, you know, it's what a great, talented family. But at the end of the day, what kind of, you know, most impressed you about her and her work ethic, maybe?
You know, I am, I think because I value hard work
Yeah.
and me, I just, I don't know, I've always done it. I do a lot of work. I care. I put, you know, a lot of energy into what I'm doing. And to see a person so young who is, you know, getting so much attention, to
Hmm.
really be able to block out the noise and to focus on her work and to do it in such a elegant, thoughtful way, I think was really most impressive to me. She works incredibly hard at the script, at the story, but the physicality, you know, she had a lot of training to do, you know, she, all the sword work, she
Yeah.
did so many of her own stunts. She always wanted to do everything. You know, and always that I'd have to be like, no, please don't do this, you know, not this one. Um,
Good
she's
for
just,
her.
yeah, she just, you know, she works the hardest.
Amazing, amazing. You know, as I said earlier, you've done so many TV shows, so many of my favorites. You started in soap operas. That's got to be really being thrown into the fire because of the pacing and everything. You must have learned so much to take with you what you do now, I would think.
I tell you, I love my soap family. Like, when I think about how much I've learned, and
Yeah,
I have to be honest with you, there's not a day that goes by that I'm on a set now that
yeah,
I don't think of something that comes in handy, like during my day, because the volume of work is so huge on a
right.
daytime set. You're doing so many pages. It's multi-camera. There's it's so technical, and I
Yeah,
had in theater, so I was not a technical person, and I think that I learned a tremendous amount from all the crew people, all the, you know, cast people that have been doing, you know, those jobs for so many years. Yeah, it was a really great learning experience for me.
Yeah, I can just imagine. You just mentioned Ray Donovan, my one of my all-time favorite shows. Honestly, I'm still in such depression that they didn't get renewed. But I had an interview with Eddie Marsan just a few weeks ago, and yeah, I love him. I just love him. He is brilliant, brilliant as Terry. Honestly, what he did this last season had me in tears every week, and he's such a lovely guy, as everybody is on that show. But I was saying to him, I go, as for a fan that's invested so much time in a series and then it just is done and but left us with such a cliffhanger. There has to be an ending to their story, honestly. But working with that cast must have been a gift.
A complete gift. So you have these moments that and it happens to me all the time where I'll be doing my job and I'm just doing my job and I'll just stop for a moment and I'm like, I feel like pinching myself. I'm like, is this John Voight and Liev Schreiber and Eddie Marsan? I'm like, is this really what I'm doing? And this is my job? What an insane cast.
And what about Shameless? Another one.
Another
Look
one.
at that cast.
Another one.
If when you think Frank can't get any worse, it gets worse every week,
Oh, Bill Lacey, yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. And yeah, I feel very, very honored and humbled to get to do what I do.
Well, I personally thank you, like I said, for everything that you've given us. Man, you are such a talent. And so what's next? I know we're in pandemic mode, but do you have something that we'll see coming from you after Curse? What's next?
Yeah, I hope so. I've been reading a ton and I'm excited about a few projects that are in the early stages. So can't really talk about anything yet because I'm a little superstitious, but
yeah.
I'm hoping that we get back to safe production at some point, when the world is moving forward. I hope that, we can get through, I know we're going to get through this, but
we will. It's just take some time. That's all.
Yeah. So just excited to be reading stuff and feeling grateful that I have a little bit of time and doing okay and can get my, creative energy still flowing with the stuff that's coming my way.
Wonderful. Well, listen, now that we're all stuck in our homes, we've got Curse to watch. So this is great. It's a great bingeable series. And again, I just want to thank you for everything and for your time tonight. I love talking to you. It was such a pleasure for me.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Me too.
Oh, you're welcome. Have a great evening. And hopefully we'll see you in person one day soon.
Yeah.
Have a good night. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.